Hello everyone, welcome back to Arpita Sharma classes. Today is 2nd of August 2022 and we are starting with the Hindu newspaper analysis back again. Now in this channel I promise you that we are going to continuously analyze the Hindu newspaper, upload the lectures for all of you, and also will also upload the PDF of the lecture on a Telegram channel that is Simplifying UPSC with Ease. The link of the same is given below in the description box as well. ये मेरा प्रॉमिस है आप लोगों को कि अब से द हिंदू न्यूज़पेपर का एनालिसिस डेली आएगा एक्सेप्ट ऑन संडेज संडेज को नहीं आएगा आपका न्यूज़पेपर एनालिसिस बिकॉज ऑन संडेज यू हैव टू एनालाइज द न्यूज़पेपर योरसेल्फ संडे को आपका सेल्फ स्टडी डे होता है तो इसीलिए उस दिन हम न्यूज़पेपर का एनालिसिस नहीं करेंगे बट फ्रॉम मंडे टू सैटरडे वी आर गोइंग टू एनालाइज द न्यूज़पेपर कॉन्टिन्यूसली ओके विदाउट एनी ब्रेक ठीक है सो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड विदाउट एनी डिले शुरू करते हैं आज का लेक्चर 2nd August, page number 1. Today we have this article GST collections jumped by 28% on imports. Here we need to understand what exactly is GST. The data is not important because every month, every 2 months, every 1 month the data changes. But here the concept of GST is really important. Before we understand what exactly is GST, let us solve some questions from the previous year's प्रीलिम्स क्वेश्चन पेपर अब पिछले कुछ सालों के प्रीलिम्स के क्वेश्चन पेपर में ना जीएसटी के ऊपर काफी क्वेश्चंस आए हैं सो वी आर गोइंग टू सॉल्व ऑल दीज क्वेश्चंस ओके लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड हियर क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 इज जीएसटी इज स्टेटेड टू रिप्लेस व्हाट काइंड्स ऑफ टैक्सेस सर्विस टैक्स सेंट्रल एक्साइज टैक्स एंटरटेनमेंट टैक्स और डी ऑल ऑफ द अबव यू हैव 10 सेकंड्स टाइम टू आंसर द क्वेश्चन बहुत इजी क्वेश्चन है 10 सेकंड का टाइम है जल्दी से आंसर कीजिए क्वेश्चन को GST has replaced what kind of taxes? Very easy. Alright, time is up. Correct answer is D. Service, central excise and entertainment. All of these taxes have been replaced by the goods and service tax. D is the correct answer. Coming on to the next question. What is GST bill officially called? GST bill का official name क्या है? The Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill 2014. Constitution 132nd Amendment Bill 2014, Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill 2016, Constitution 132nd Amendment Bill 2016. Very easy question. बहुत ही ज़्यादा easy question है ये because GST is always in news every day. So it's very simple to answer this question if you are regularly studying the newspaper and you have analyzed and decoded the topic GST. करेक्ट आंसर हियर वुड बी ए आपका यहाँ पर करेक्ट आंसर हो जाएगा ठीक है यस इट वाज पास्ड इन 2016 बट ये जो बिल है इसका ऑफिशियल नाम है 122nd अमेंडमेंट बिल 2014 ओके कमिंग ऑन टू द थर्ड क्वेश्चन कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स द जीएसटी नेटवर्क व्हिच इज नोन एज GSTN इट्स अ नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन formed to provide IT infrastructure and services to central and state government, taxpayers and other stakeholders for implementation of GST. Second statement is saying Government of India holds 51% stake or shares in GSTN or ownership. Stake means ownership. So correct answer here would be यहाँ पर आपका correct answer क्या होगा जल्दी से बताएं Very good. Option 2 is incorrect. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया होल्ड 51% ओनरशिप ये गलत है आपका आंसर ठीक है तो यहाँ पर फर्स्ट ऑप्शन इज करेक्ट सो बी इज द करेक्ट आंसर क्वेश्चन 4 विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग प्रोडक्ट्स आर आउटसाइड द परव्यू ऑफ जीएसटी इसमें से कौन से प्रोडक्ट्स हैं जो जीएसटी के कवरेज से बाहर हैं अल्कोहल फॉर ह्यूमन कंजम्पशन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी मेडिसिन देखो दिस क्वेश्चन हैज बीन आस्क्ड इन द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन पेपर प्रीलिम्स के प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन पेपर में ना ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है So it's very important to answer. Correct answer here would be D. Okay, यहाँ पर correct answer होगा D. Here alcohol for human consumption and electricity are outside the coverage of GST. Medicines तो आपके GST की coverage में ही आता है, but human consumption के लिए जो alcohol use होता है, that is, outside it. Coming on to the next important question, what are the proposed benefits of GST? GST के proposed benefits क्या हैं? Overall reduction in price for consumers. Reduction in multiplicity of tax, cascading and double taxation, decrease in black transactions. Choose the correct options. यहाँ पर आपको correct options choose करने हैं. Again, very important question and very easy question as well. Yes, correct answer is D. All of the above statements are the benefits of GST. Okay, now how the prices for the consumers will be reduced, we are going to study that in the further slides. So first let us understand about GSTC. What is GSTC? It is the Goods and Service Tax Council. Very important concept. देखो, GSTC or the Council of GST is under the GST regime, and this GST came into effect by the Constitutional 122nd Amendment Bill, which was passed by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha in 2016. तो ये 2014 का जो बिल था, 2016 में ये दोनों हाउसेज ने पार्लियामेंट में इसको पास किया. एंड दिस जीएसटी, ठीक है, ये जीएसटी रिजीम जो है, इट वर्क्स इन 3 स्टेजेस. वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी द स्टेजेस, डोंट वरी, हम इसको पढ़ेंगे. दिस जीएसटी काउंसिल अंडर द जीएसटी रिजीम, इट्स अ जॉइंट फोरम, or you can say joint association of both the centers and the states, wherein the members they discuss about how the tax rates of GST have to be finalized, what are the changes that can be made in the GST regime to make it more simple, etc. These सारे issues are discussed in the GST council, and it was set up by the president as per article 279A subsection 1. तो यहाँ पर 279A जो है, इसके तहत जीएसटी काउंसिल को स्टैब्लिश किया गया है. अगेन दिस पॉइंट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर प्रीलिम्स. ये पॉइंट आपका प्रीलिम्स के लिए काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है. ठीक है, नाउ मूविंग अहेड, आगे बढ़ते हैं. दिस जीएसटी काउंसिल, द मेंबर्स हियर आर द चेयरमैन, द यूनियन फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर इज द चेयरमैन ऑफ दिस काउंसिल, and the other members are Union Minister of State of Finance from the center. ठीक है, every state has to nominate one minister, okay, who will be in charge of the finance and taxation to become a member of this council. हर state से finance और taxation का जो minister होगा वो nominate होगा इस council के membership की position के लिए. Okay, point clear? But the chairman is the Union Finance Minister, that you have to remember. Now, how this goods and service tax was introduced? The GST bill is officially known as the Constitutional 122nd Amendment Bill 2014. But how was it introduced? It was introduced through the 101st Constitutional Amendment Act of 2016. Parliament में इसको introduce कैसे किया गया? 101st Constitutional Amendment Act of 2016 के थ्रू इसको इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया. ये पॉइंट आपको, अगेन दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर प्रीलिम. नाउ व्हाट इज दिस 101st Constitutional Amendment Act of 2016? Basically it allows both the center and the states to assess the excise duty, the entertainment tax, all of these which have been substituted by GST, making it a single indirect tax. तो ये जो 101st कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट एक्ट है, ये क्या करता है? ये एक्साइज ड्यूटी, ऑक्ट्रॉय टैक्स, कस्टम्स ड्यूटी, सर्विस टैक्स को असेस किया करता था. बट अब इन सभी को जीएसटी ने सब्ज्यूम कर लिया, तो बेसिकली एक सिंगल इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स मार्केट में आ गया. देयर वाज अ सिंगल इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स इन द मार्केट एंड इट वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड थ्रू दिस पर्टिकुलर एक्ट ओनली, दैट इज जीएसटी. So GST is one of the biggest indirect tax, okay, in our country. हमारे biggest indirect tax reform का part है GST. It's a part of, you can say, the biggest indirect tax reform in our country. And the slogan, the very famous slogan of GST is one nation, one tax. So all these excise duty, octroi tax, custom duty, service tax, entry tax, entertainment tax, all of these have been subsumed by GST only. Now there is one single tax which is GST. And GST is also known as the consumption tax because जो आपके end consumers हैं उनको finally ये देना पड़ता है, तो ये आपका consumption tax भी बोलते हैं इसको. ठीक है, point clear? Now there are 3 kinds of GSTs. We have the central GST which covers the excise and service tax. Then we have the state GSTs which covers the VAT and luxury taxes. And we have the integrated GST. Integrated GST is not actually a tax. It is a system to coordinate between the state and union taxes. स्टेट के टैक्सेस और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के जो टैक्सेस होते हैं उनके बीच में एक सिस्टम डाला गया, आईजीएसटी. ये आईजीएसटी क्या करता है? इन दोनों टैक्सेस को कोऑर्डिनेट करवाता है. ठीक है, सो इट कवर्स द इंटरस्टेट ट्रेड, दैट यू हैव टू रिमेंबर फॉर प्रीलिम्स. ओके, now what were the reasons for bringing GST लाने के रीजन क्या थे? देखो, फर्स्ट was obviously because there were different kind of indirect taxes, ठीक है, to be paid during the transportation, during the manufacturing process, so that was leading to double taxation. So to remove the cascading effect of taxes, or to remove the double taxation and to decrease the tax burden on the end consumer, ठीक है, this tax was brought about, GST को लाया गया. Because see, in the manufacturing process, then the process of transport, there were multiple taxes which were levied. Because of that, the price of the product which used to reach out to the final consumer, it used to increase. and that is why to remove that increased tax burden this GST was passed. Now there is single tax जो end consumer में यहाँ पर consumption process में लगता है, एक single tax है बस. अब आपको multiple tax pay करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Okay, so this was the first reason why GST was brought about. Second is the concept of input tax credit. Now if you are a chartered accountant or company secretary, you must have read about the input tax credit. Now this is very simple, you can say procedure that you need to understand. Now hota kya hai, the GST merchant, the person who is holding the GST number, the merchant, he pays money to produce goods and services. ओके, पैसा ही पे करता है ना मर्चेंट गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज खरीदने के लिए या प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए, फाइनल गुड्स प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए ही परचेजेस द रॉ मटेरियल्स एटसेट्रा व्हिच इज नोन एज द इनपुट्स. सो दिस पेमेंट दैट ही मेक्स, यहाँ पर जो परसेंटेज टैक्स का देकर वो पेमेंट करते हैं यहाँ पर, दैट कैन बी लेटर सेट ऑफ अगेंस्ट द टैक्स एप्लीकेबल ऑन द सप्लाई ऑफ फाइनल गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज. ठीक है, दैट इज द इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट. नाउ इन अ वेरी इजी लैंग्वेज शुड आई मेक इट क्लियर टू यू? ओके, let's have a look at this particular example. Stage 1 of GST. See, the manufacturer, suppose this X person is the manufacturer of pencils. ये pencil बनाता है, ठीक है? So he goes into the market and he buys raw material to make these pencils. Okay, अब ये market में जाता है manufacturer X and he purchases the raw material which are required to make these or manufacture these pencils. And the raw material that he purchased is worth ₹1000. उसने 1000 रुपए खर्च किए, रॉ मटेरियल खरीद लिया. बट ऑन दिस 1000 रुपीज, दिस इज इंक्लूसिव ऑफ द टैक्स ऑफ ₹100. 10% का यहाँ पर टैक्स लगा, तो इसके अंदर ही इन ₹1000 100 रुपीज इज इंक्लूडेड एज टैक्स. ओके, नाउ ही मैन्युफैक्चर्स द पेंसिल्स. ओके, इन्होंने क्या किया, पेंसिल को मैन्युफैक्चर कर लिया. When he manufactures the pencils, basically he is adding value to the material. He purchased raw material, now he is converting that raw material into pencils. So he is adding value. So for example, he now adds value to this particular pencil of ₹300. Total amount of pencil will become 1000 plus 300, 1300, because 1000 mein he purchased it, inclusive of the 10% of tax. And now he is adding 300 rupees as value. So total amount of the pencil, now total price of the pencil will come out to be ₹1300. Now on this ₹1300, the wholesaler will purchase pencil from the manufacturer. Now he will have to pay 10% of tax. इसके ऊपर wholesaler 10% का इस पर टैक्स लगाएगा. तो टैक्स लगाएगा इस पे जब 10% का, तो वो कितना अमाउंट हो जाएगा, ₹130. टैक्स ऑन आउटपुट विल बी ₹130. ओके, here over here see, stage 2, the wholesaler. Now the wholesaler purchases the pencils from the manufacturer and he had to pay ₹1300 because manufacturer had added ₹300 as the value. Okay, after converting the raw material into pencil. So the wholesaler gave ₹1300 to the manufacturer, and then to further sell it to the retailer, he also added his own margin. देखो, everybody adds his own margin on the product in order to earn profit. So he added his value as ₹200. Total amount of that pencil will come out to be ₹1500. उस pencil की stock की पूरी total value 1500 हो जाएगी. On this, the next person will have to pay 10% tax. So that would amount to be ₹150, 10% of 1500. Now under the GST, he can set off the tax on his output, that is ₹150 का tax, against the tax that he paid while purchasing the good from manufacturer, that is ₹130. यहाँ पर 130 का tax pay करके इसने लिया था ना product. He purchased the product by paying this 130 का tax. He can get this 130 का set nullified, void, by setting it off against ₹150. So GST का incidence, effective GST incidence would come out to be ₹150 minus the earlier tax that he paid. He is setting it off. So that would be ₹20. तो इसके ऊपर burden सिर्फ 20 रुपए का आया. Okay. Now coming on to stage 3. Now the retailer will go to the wholesaler to purchase the stock of pencil. Purchase price is here 1500. The wholesaler has added his margin ₹100. Gross value ₹1600 हो गई. Sorry, the retailer had added his margin of ₹100. The gross value will be 1600. The tax will be 10%, ₹160. But by setting off his tax, this particular tax of ₹160 against the tax that he paid earlier, that is ₹150, the GST incidence would come out to be ₹10. उसके ऊपर burden कितना पड़ेगा? Retailer के ऊपर burden will be of ₹10 only. Okay, point clear? So total GST on entire value gain from input suppliers through the manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer is rupees 160. Rupees 100 plus 30 plus 20 plus this 10, 160. And the final consumer will bear this, only the GST which has been charged by the last dealer. Last dealer ने जो GST charge किया है ना, फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पर लास्ट डीलर का जीएसटी रुपीज 160 था, फाइनल कंज्यूमर के ऊपर लास्ट डीलर का जीएसटी का बर्डन ही आएगा. ओके, ऑल अदर जीएसटीज विल नॉट बी एडेड, ओनली द लास्ट वन, लास्ट बर्डन ऑफ जीएसटी विल बी एडेड, ओके, ऑन द फाइनल कंज्यूमर. पॉइंट क्लियर हो गया यहाँ तक सभी को? All right. But the another important point is with set of benefits at all previous stages. So after the set of benefit, the retailer's burden was rupees 10 only. So the consumer will bear only this burden. Okay. यहाँ पर always remember the last person in the chain, the GST burden that he had, that burden will only fall on the consumer. And that burden was rupees 10 because it was earlier set off. Okay. So that is why we get the final amount to be rupees 10. The GST burden of rupees 10 will fall on the consumer. Alright. Coming on to the next important article. This is Sanjay Raut sent to ED custody for 3 days. Now here we need to know exactly is the Enforcement Directorate, because yesterday also when we were analyzing the Supreme Court's verdict on the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, we came across this word called Enforcement Directorate. Now we know from yesterday's lecture as well that Enforcement Directorate basically administers the Money Laundering Act. Okay, जो यहाँ पर आपका PMLA है उसको कौन, Prevention of Money Laundering Act को कौन administer करता है, implement करता है, that is the Enforcement Directorate under the Ministry of Revenue, right? Now here Enforcement Directorate basically is a multidisciplinary organization. It's not a statutory body, it's a kind of agency. Please, whatever I am saying, hear it very clearly, okay? Because it performs under the Ministry of Revenue. It's an agency. On their behalf, it administers the PMLA. Okay, it's not a statutory body. And here its task is to enforce the provisions of the two very special fiscal laws. One is the FEMA, which is a quasi-judicial, which has quasi-judicial powers. And second is the PMLA. Okay, now when we talk about these two particular, fiscal laws, one we studied yesterday only. What is FEMA? Let us understand that. So here FEMA's full form is, it is the Foreign Exchange Management Act of 1999, and it was basically, it came into effect or it came into force by an act of parliament. It was enacted on 29th December 1999. Okay, now let's understand further about the Foreign Exchange Management Act. Foreign Exchange Management Act basically it works under the framework of WTO, that is the World Trade Organization. Okay, and it is a set of regulations that empowers the Reserve Bank of India to pass regulations and enables Government of India to pass rules related to foreign exchange. Foreign trade policy जो इंडिया की है उसके पर्सपेक्टिव से foreign exchange के rules बनाए जाते हैं through the FEMA Act. Okay, and FEMA basically replaced the FERA Act. What was the FERA Act? FERA Act was Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. It was replaced by FEMA. Okay, FERA came into force in 1973 and in 1999 it was replaced by FEMA. Okay, point clear हो गया यहाँ तक? All right. Now here the Enforcement Directorate, basically the origin of this is that it came into origin in 1956. First May 1956 को ED का ऑफिस तैयार हुआ था and initially it was named as Enforcement Unit, not Enforcement Directorate. Okay, its original name was the Enforcement Unit and it was renamed as the Enforcement Directorate in 1957. And it was formed under the Department of Economic Affairs back in 1956. 1956 में Department of Economic Affairs के अंदर था. Later on in 1960s it came in the under the Ministry of Finance, Department of Revenue. Now right now it is under the Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. Okay, point clear? And for 4 years now, from 1973 to 77, it was under the Department of Personnel and Administrative Reforms. ठीक है, but 4 साल के लिए था, for a very short amount of time only it was there. All right. Now we need to understand that this ED also processes cases of the fugitives from India. भारत से जो fugitives declare किए जाते हैं under the Fugitive Economic Offender Act 2018, this particular the cases related to that also are processed by ED, and they also sponsor cases of preventive detention. Okay, so these are the two important facts for prelims that you need to understand. Now let's solve some questions related to ED. With reference to Enforcement Directorate, consider the following statements. Again, these are prelims PYQs that we are solving. ये प्रीलिम्स के ही PYQs हैं जो हम सॉल्व कर रहे हैं. So from every article we are going to solve prelims previous year questions, so that you can have an idea that whatever you are studying, what kind of questions they can frame from those topics. Now, first statement is mandated with the task of enforcing provisions of the Foreign Exchange Management Act and PMLA. It's a statutory body. Like CBI, ED can also register a case on its own. Now here we studied over here initially that it's an agency under the Ministry of Finance, not a statutory body. So second statement would be automatically incorrect. We can eliminate B option. Coming on to the first statement, yes, it is correct. First correct is C option can be eliminated. Coming on to the third statement, like CBI, ED can also register a case. No, it's an agency. CBI की तरह ये cases register नहीं कर सकते. CBI registers cases and then it comes to the ED. So third statement is also wrong. D will be eliminated. Correct answer would be A. Okay. Now here you should learn how to use elimination method also. यहाँ पर ना आप elimination method भी सीख सकते हैं through these lectures. Next question. Consider the following statements. ED is a part of Ministry of Home Affairs. It enforces FEMA and PMLA. Very easy question. First is wrong because it is Ministry of Finance, Department of Revenue. Okay. First will be eliminated. C will be eliminated. Second is correct. आपका यहाँ पर A, B will be the correct answer. All right. Coming on to the next important article, page 5 pe we have this article, African swine fever reported in Kannur. So this African swine fever, we need to understand this from the perspective of prelims. Here against every article I have also written down from which perspective we are reading this article. Okay. So here African swine fever is known as ASF. Basically, it is found in animals and it is transmitted from animals to animals only. Humans are not impacted. Okay. It is not dangerous for humans. Now here, it's a very highly contagious and fatal animal disease. Spread बहुत जल्दी करता है and that is why the only way to stop this particular disease from spreading to the animals is the culling method. Okay. Now what is culling? It is reduction of a wild animal population by selective slaughter. Okay, that is culling. उसको हम culling बोलते हैं. When basically to reduce the spread of the disease or to basically remove the population of weak or sick animals, we cull them. Okay, तो उससे क्या होता है हम उनका slaughter करते हैं. But क्यों करते हैं? Not just for eating purpose or not for any kind of ritual, but this is to spread the disease from spreading to other animals. Okay, now it infects and leads to an acute form of hemorrhagic fever. Okay, basically it is seen in the domestic pig, in the wild pig. Now what is hemorrhage? Hemorrhage का मतलब क्या होता है? The hemorrhagic fever where it means an escape of blood from a ruptured blood vessel to the other parts of the body. Okay, so here let's understand other symptoms of this particular disease. It's high fever in the animals. Anorexia. What is anorexia? Anorexia means an eating disorder. Please write it down. It means eating disorder. Okay, basically it causes the animals to obsess about weight, right, which results into decrease of the food intake. So that is amounts to the loss of appetite. Then hemorrhages in skin, ruptured vessel से जो blood है वो बाकी organs में, बाकी parts में, बाकी cells में फैलने लगता है. Vomiting, diarrhea, these are the symptoms in the animals. And it was first detected in Africa in 1920s. Mortality in this case is 100%. Mortality means subject of being, state of being subject to death. That is mortality. Okay. Death rate तो यहाँ पर 100% रहता है animals में. इसका कोई cure नहीं है अगर fever हो जाता है इस case में, and it spreads from animals to animals. And this ASF is not a threat to the human beings. Okay. Point clear. Now this particular ASF is reported to the OIE. So what exactly is OIE? Let us understand that. OIE is the intergovernmental organization which is responsible for improving animal health worldwide. Basically, it passes certain rules, certain standards, certain regulations, which the member countries have to follow in order to take care of their animals or the health of the cattle or animals. And India is also a member of this organization. Total 182 members है, जिसमें से India भी एक member है. This fact is important for prelims. They can give you these statements like, India is not a member or India is the only member. So those statements will be false. Okay, and its headquarters is in France. It is also recognized by the World Trade Organization. इसके जो standards हैं वो WTO भी recognize करता है. Then there are other kinds of swine fever also. That is the classical swine fever known as hog cholera because it is found in pigs. ठीक है. बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट डिजीज है जो पिग्स में पाई जाती है, एंड बेसिकली इट्स एन इकोनॉमिकली डैमेजिंग पैंडेमिक. ओके, मोर्टेलिटी अगेन इन दिस केस इज 100%, and it is caused by the virus of the family Flaviviridae. This you have to remember for prelims. Coming on to this picture was on page number 4. Please do not ignore pictures like these. This is an image of Lingaraja temple, and Lingaraja temple was in prelims PYQ in 2017 prelims. It was asked. Okay, so please remember that whatever temples or whatever important images of animals or birds that you come across in the Hindu newspaper, they are equally important. So this temple was built in 11th century AD, dedicated to Lord Shiva, and the largest temple which is found in Odisha in Bhubaneswar, which was built by the Somvanshi king Yayati I. And iske andar na, there are 150 other shrines, subsidiary shrines also. Now the temple, whenever we study any temple, we need to understand the temple architecture also. Here this temple has a Kalinga style of architecture. Kalinga style of architecture is very famous in eastern India. Okay, it is found in Odisha, Bengal, northeast also. This Kalinga style of architecture is a very unique and different kind of architecture, wherein the building walls are built in red stone. Okay, and this particular temple is divided into 4 sections. This architecture is divided into 4 sections. First is the Garbhagriha, where the deity is placed, which is known as Sanctum Sanctorum. Second, we have the Yagna Shala, which is the hall for prayers, where the prayers are offered by the devotees. Then we have the Bhoga Mandapa, where the offerings are distributed among the devotees. And then we have the Natya Shala, where during the festivals and occasions the dance and music is performed. That is the hall of dance. Natya Shala. Natya means your dance. Okay. So these are the 4 sections which are a part of this Kalinga style of architecture, specifically in this Lingaraja temple. Now this Lingaraja temple, here why it is named as Lingaraja, because here the Shivling which is found is known as Lingaraj, which is Swayambhu, that is self-originated Shivling. It was found, basically it said that nobody created it, nobody established it in this temple. It self-originated. Okay, and it signifies the syncretization of 2 sects in Odisha, that is Shaivism and Vaishnavism, because the presiding deity which is kept here in the Garbhagriha is Hari Hara. Hari means Lord Vishnu, Hara means Lord Shiva. So there are 2 sects which are shown in this particular temple, and at the north side of the temple there is a Bindu Sagar lake, which is a very famous lake that you need to remember for prelims. Let's answer this question which was asked in prelims 2017 with reference to art and archaeological history of India. Which one among the following was made earliest? Lingaraj temple at Bhubaneswar, rock cut elephant at Dhauli, rock cut monuments at Mahabalipuram, Varaha image at Udayagiri. So here, just write down your answer on a sheet of paper. Fatapat se likh lijiye. Let us answer second question till then. Again, this was asked right in, I guess, prelims 2018 ka question hai ye. Which of the following is or are famous for sun temples? Arsavali, then Amrakantak, Omkareshwar. So here famous sun temple आपका Arsavali है. So A is the correct answer over here. Let's answer question number 1. ये question solve करते हैं. Here the correct answer is option 2. Rock cut elephant at Dhauli is the earliest made sculpture. Now here we can see rock cut elephant at Dhauli. This is the image. जो elephant का first part होता है ना, वो यहाँ पर carve किया गया है. It was created during Ashoka's reign, 272 to 231 BC. And it is the earliest Buddhist sculpture of Odisha that you have to remember. तो modern art का काफी earliest part ये पाया जाता है. Now here Lingaraj temple was created in 11th AD. Rock cut monument at Mahabalipuram, this one, it was created during 7th century. And Varaha image is this one, okay, wherein you can see Lord Vishnu incarnated as Varaha to safeguard earth, mother earth, that she is known as Bhudevi also, from a demon. It was created in 5th century AD. Okay. Coming on to the next article, Kerala opposes changes to MMDR Act. ये act आपको खुद से पढ़ना है आज, ठीक है? We are discussing the basic facts for prelims in this article. Minerals like glauconite and potash, they are used as fertilizer in agriculture. Very important. ये देखो points आपके काफी important है, ठीक है? तो इसको underline कर लीजिए. They are used as fertilizers in agriculture. Then platinum group of metals, they are of high value metals, ठीक है? इनको high value metals माना जाता है because they are used in innovative applications, industries में use किए जाते हैं. Then some of the minerals like andalusite, molybdenum, ठीक है? These are very vital and they are used in industrial applications. So these are the important facts that you need to remember for prelims. Now another important fact about mining is that entry at serial number 23 of list 2, it mandates government to own minerals located within their boundaries. So the state list में list number 2 में entry number 23 में जो minerals लिखे हुए हैं वो जो provisions लिखे हैं वो government को, state government को ये permission देते हैं कि आप अपने territory के अंदर minerals को mine कर सकते हो. Then entry at serial number 54 of list 1, which is the central list. List 2 state list, list 1 central list. It mandates center to own minerals within the economic zones. Okay? And then in pursuance to this particular entry, the Mines and Minerals Act 1967 was formed. So this MMDP जो DR आपको पढ़ना है, this is in pursuance of list 1 of the central list. Okay? And all the offshore minerals which are found in oceans and seas, here the ownership is with the central government, okay, not the state government. Now coming on to the next important article, Bill for Gati Shakti University has been introduced in Lok Sabha. Right now it has been introduced. They are not saying it has been passed, it has been introduced. Okay. Now first let us understand what is PM Gati Shakti. PM Gati Shakti समझ लेते हैं कि क्या है. So PM Gati Shakti basically it is used to facilitate the last mile connectivity of all kinds of infrastructure, announced in 21, and it's a digital platform. इसमें 16 ministries including the railway ministry is also involved. Okay, and it has 6 pillars: comprehensiveness, synchronization, prioritization, optimization, dynamics, and analytical. These are the 6 pillars of this PM Gati Shakti. Using these concepts, it's going to connect every infrastructure part in our nation. Now basically जो union ministry है, इन्होंने education ministry ने introduce किया है Central University Amendment Bill. And this amendment bill seeks to convert National Rail and Transportation University, which is deemed to be a university, into Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. Using this bill, the National Rail and Transportation University is going to be converted into Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. It will be an autonomous central university. Okay, and this new university, once the bill is passed by both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, it will be funded and administered by Ministry of Railways. Okay, point clear हो गया? So within 32 minutes, we have analyzed the entire Hindu newspaper, all the important major articles, and we have solved prelims based questions as well. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. अगर आपको ये lecture अच्छा लगा हो तो comment section में do let me know. On this note, we are wrapping up the class. Thank you everyone.